It's been nice knowing Sean O'Malley. I've really enjoyed his fights. He's always been pretty fun to watch. And, he puts on a show for the fans, but he's probably going to realize why they call that man No Mercy. Yeah, that title is real, man. Sean O'Malley is going to be taking on Petr Yan in Abu Dhabi for UFC 280. I had to double check, triple check, go deep into the research to really know if this is true, because I would have never expected that Sean O'Malley is going to be taking on Petr Yan this early in his career. And honestly, all credit to Sean O'Malley, huge respect for him for taking this kind of fight. He's picking out the most dangerous guy for him in the whole division. He could have tried to come up slower, but he wanted the top contender. I mean, it's kind of ironic because he was saying that he doesn't want to fight top contenders or fight quickly up the rankings if he's not going to get paid for it. But he's jumping so far ahead from where he's at, it deserves respect, regardless of what people think is going to happen to him. I mean, the guy just fought Pedro Munoz, and that fight was relatively even. It was so close, nothing really much happened, so you can't really say that they got going. It was a pretty slow fight. But the jump from Pedro Munoz to Petr Yan is a massive step up. Not only according to the rankings, Munoz is number 9, Petr Yan is number 1. Forget about the rankings, just the skill difference alone is probably even vaster than that. Imagine what Petr Yan would do to Pedro Munoz. Now imagine what he might do to Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is the number 13 ranked bantamweight, fighting the number 1 contender. If he pulls this off, he might be the next contender for the title. But if he loses, that hype train crashes completely. Losing to the number 1 contender this early in his career should not hurt him that much. But the fact that he has so much of the casual fans behind him that most of the people that are going to be watching the fight don't even know who Petr Yan is. They don't know how much of a savage that guy is. People still believe he's the best bantamweight in the world, regardless of holding the belt or not. I'm not saying that, but that's how high a lot of people hold Petr Yan's name. Most of the casual fans don't even know who that guy is. They know Sean O'Malley. And if they see Sean O'Malley get beat down for 3 rounds, it could hurt his reputation. But what I just mentioned about 3 rounds is very important. That is going to benefit Sean O'Malley. Petr Yan is a guy who needs to get going. He does much better in the 4th and 5th rounds of a fight. He does well in 5-round fights, where he starts really slow in the 1st round. And with O'Malley starting quickly, there is a chance that O'Malley can win a decision here. That is not out of the books. I could definitely see him winning the 1st round, but the 2nd and 3rd, unless Petr Yan does not get going, I see him absolutely tearing O'Malley apart, especially in that last round. And the best way for Yan to secure a win here is to use his wrestling, because O'Malley of course approaches the fight in a striking manner. He's very long, he's very tall, he has similar dimensions to Corey Sandhagen, who Petr Yan, by the way, put on an amazing show against, and due to that, Yan is also going to have to be a bit more pressuring and probably in this one, take the path of least resistance, take down O'Malley, and just punish him. Later in the fight, I could definitely see Yan doing whatever he wants, take it to the ground, punch him out, kick him, blitz him down, so many options for Petr Yan to absolutely take the fight over in that 3rd round. O'Malley's going to be in a lot of danger the longer the fight goes. Oh man, we're not even talking about the leg kicks. Yan doesn't throw a lot of leg kicks, but in this one, he's going to put a lot of that together with his takedowns. Mix it up there, and it's going to cause a lot of different targets for Yan to attack. And O'Malley's defense is going to have to be on point in order to deal with that. And I don't think he's on that level yet. Dealing with the leg kicks, dealing with blitzing shots to the head, dealing with the takedowns at the same time, spinning attacks out of nowhere, a guy who can match his speed and his power, while also being technically superior in most areas of fighting. This is going to be a large task for Sean O'Malley to not only win, forget about winning, just coming out recognizable. And I already know a lot of people are going to be talking about Sean O'Malley checking a lot of Pedro Munoz's leg kicks, but there's a difference there. Munoz has some of the best calf kicks in the entire division. He was landing some of them, he got a lot of them checked. The reason why it's going to be much easier to check Munoz's leg kicks than Petr Yan's leg kicks is solely of the simple fact that Munoz doesn't have a lot of attacks that are threatening from a distance like that. His main weapon from a distance, which Munoz was kept out on for the majority of the fight, are leg kicks. He doesn't really do much else. And because of that, they're easier to see and you can expect them. If Munoz is far away, he's going to throw a leg kick. It's much easier to see what Munoz is going to do from a distance than what Petr Yan is going to do. Petr Yan can mix in and blend a lot more attacks you have to be worried about. Is he going to blitz and shift in different stances, trying to punch me from a long range? Is he going to throw a spinning kick to my head? Is he going to throw a flying knee? Is he going to throw a side kick to my body? Or he's going to throw a leg kick? Or he's going to shoot a takedown? All of that with Petr Yan also being much faster than Pedro Munoz. That is why the leg kicks in this fight, if Yan goes to them, can be more problematic for Sean O'Malley to deal with than it was when he fought Munoz. there's so many more things he has to be cautious about. But due to Yan's ability to switch stances in the middle of his attacks, as well as mix up the takedowns, it will relatively make Sean O'Malley look like a one-dimensional fighter out there. And when you're going up against one of the best fighters at analyzing the opponent mid-fight, it's going to be about time that I believe Petr Yan is going to finish Sean O'Malley. I'm going to say by a 3rd round TKO. Imagine the scenario that on UFC 279, Nate Diaz knocks out Hamza Chimaev, and then on UFC 280, Sean O'Malley puts Petr Yan to sleep. We would have to think that we're in some alternate universe.